Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to class number 3 of the online learning course presented by the Paradise Academy. Like yesterday, we will start off with the core subject, which is the Qaida, and we will continue learning the Arabic alphabet. Before we learn today's new letters, we will do a quick recap of all the words that we have been through so far. So repeat after me. Alif, Ba, Da, Tha, Jim, Ha, Kha, Dal, Dhal, Ra, Za, Sin, Sheen, Swad, Wad. Well done. Moving on to the new letters for today's class, we will do it in the same way. I will say each letter 4 to 5 times and you can repeat after me each time. So the first letter today is Tha. 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 The letter Tha comes when the tip of the tongue touches the gums behind the front upper central 2 teeth. This letter is pronounced full mouth. So one more time. Tha. Moving on. The next letter is Dha. 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 The letter Dha comes when the tip of the tongue touches the bottom edge of the front upper central 2 teeth. This letter is also pronounced full mouth. So one more time. Dha. Moving on. The next letter is Ain. 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 The letter Ain comes from the center of the throat, similar to the word that we've done before, which was Ha. So one more time. Ain. Moving on. The next letter is Ghain. 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 Ghain comes from the top of the throat, similar to a word that we've done before as well, which was Kha. So one more time. Ghain. The next letter is Fa. 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 The letter Fa comes when the bottom edge of the upper front teeth meet the bottom lips, similar to the English word farm. So one more time. Fa. The next letter is Qaf. 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 The letter Qaf is pronounced by raising the back end of the tongue touching the palate, so touching the roof of the mouth. This letter is a full mouth letter. So one more time. Qaf. Also notice that when you pronounce letters that are full mouth, you'll make a circular kind of shape with your mouth. Qaf. Moving on. The last letter today is Kaf. 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 Kaf is pronounced by raising the back end of the tongue touching the palate, similar to Qaf, but a little further forward on the tongue. So one more time. Kaf. Well done. Now to quickly run through all the letters that we have been through today. So repeat after me. Tha. Dha. Ain. Ghain. Fa. Qaf. Kaf. Well done. I will now pass over to Qari Hanisab, who will recite a portion from the Qur'an for us.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In today's lesson, inshallah, we're going to learn Surah Al-Falaq. Surah Al-Falaq is also Makkiyah. So let's start reading. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم Let's read full. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. The surah name Suratul Falaq Makkiyah. Suratul Falaq Makkiyah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. قل أعوذ. In the previous surah we read Birabbin Nas, and here we're gonna read Birabbil Falaq. So make sure don't get confused. So the previous surah is Qul a'udhu birabbin nas, and here is Qul a'udhu birabbil falaq. Birabbil falaq. Guys, also doing qalqala at the end of sentence. Qalqala basically means do echo sound. Do echo sound at the end of sentence. And also read qaf full mouth. Let's read this full verse. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. There's only qaf, which is full mouth, and also the first letter, which was qaf, and birabbil, ra full mouth as well. The second verse, min sharri. So there's no waw here, it's without waw. Min sharri ما خلق. So here kha and qa full mouth, and again echo sound. من شر ما خلق. We're going to read third verse. This third verse is with the waw. ومن شر غاسق. Gha in full mouth, qa full mouth, sin whistling sound. غاسق إذا. Zal very softly between the teeth, stretch 1 second as well. إذا وقب. qa full mouth, echo sound on ba. وقب. Full words. ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب. ومن شر نفاثات. Tha between the teeth, stretch fa and tha 1 second because they both have kara zabar. Let's see this word again. وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ. Qa full mouth, ain middle of throat. فِي الْعُقَدِ. Let's see full words. ومن شر النفاثات في العقد. The last verse. ومن شر حاسد. Ha middle of throat, big ha. حاسد إذا حسد. In the previous, the third verse we read إذا وقب. Now this last verse we read إذا حسد. So make sure you remember it, please. And guys, I want to tell you another thing here in this surah is a bit of confusion. Guys, you can see the second verse is min shari. There's no waw there. But other all verses they start from wow with wow. So what mean like that? So let's read inshallah now full verse. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. سورة الفلق مكية. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. صدق الله العلي العظيم. جزاك الله خيرا.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Lesson number 2, Nasiha. Today we're going to talk about Allah is the most merciful. Yesterday we talked about Allah is Razaq. Allah Ta'ala is the true provider. Allah Ta'ala is the provider of each and everything. We as a creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are totally relying upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and totally dependent upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides us the oxygen to breathe. Allah ta'ala provides us the food to survive. Allah ta'ala provides us the water to drink. Allah ta'ala gives us clothes so that we can wear and keep warm. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the provider of each and everything. And today we're going to talk about another quality of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is Rahman. Allah is Rahman. Allah is the most merciful. And this is one of the glorious names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ar-Rahman. And this quality of being mercy, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed within humans as well. And this is a great quality to possess, to being kind, to be merciful, to be loving towards others. So today we're going to talk about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being the most merciful and the most kind and the most loving towards His creation. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the most merciful and the most kind. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created His creation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sustains His creation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala nurtures His creation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides for His creation. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not do for His creation? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us day. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us night. The night we sleep, we rest. The day we work. So all these are all blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the most kind, the most merciful, and He knows as humans what we are in need of, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides us with each and every single thing. That's why we begin every action with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why whenever we start any action, we should always say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, who is the most gracious and the most merciful, the most kind. So any action when we begin to say Bismillah, we should remember that this food is provided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the most kind, the most generous one. When we start any work, we again begin with Bismillah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given the ability and the strength to work and to earn halal. Like that, when we start any work, any school work, we start with Bismillah, because we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to giving us the ability and the capacity to learn. And not only that, Allah Ta'ala is providing us the means for us to learn. So we have a school where we can go and learn. We have the textbooks which we can learn from. So all these things are all blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the most kind, the most merciful one. That's why with every action we should start we should always start with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and say Bismillah Rahmanir Rahim. And when we say Bismillah Rahmanir Rahim, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He blesses us with that task, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes that task easier for us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has showered us with so many blessings. Which of Allah's favors can we deny? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been so kind to us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with so many blessings. You know, if we were to count the ni'mats and the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we will never be able to do so. We have the night, the day, we have, the food, we have water, we have healthcare, we have schools, we have mosques, we have madrasas, we have all these things, we have parents, we have family, we have children. What ni'mats do we not have? Which of Allah's favors can we deny? And the greatest blessing we have is our iman and faith, the kalima la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. And again, most of us have been born as Muslims. So how kind Allah was that when we were born as Muslims. Ask those people that weren't born as Muslims what sacrifices, what hardship and difficulty they have to go through to become Muslim. So alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the greatest gift of faith for free. We didn't have to go out and strive and work. We didn't have to go and purchase it. No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us this greatest name for free. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so kind and so merciful that He blessed us with faith and iman. And with that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed us with the Quraan and put us in the ummah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who were the best of prophets. So many favors Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so many times Allah has been kind to us that we definitely cannot deny His blessings and His favors. Allah is 70 times more loving and kind than our mothers. Moms are very special. They do so much for their children. From the time that, they have their child for 9 months, only they know what hardship they go through. And then at the time of delivery, and then as the child is born, and then they're looking after of the child when he's a baby, cleaning him up, taking care of him, and then all the way as he's growing up. We see even today, the mothers, they drop off the children to school, they pick them up, then drop them off to madrasa, then pick them up, preparing their food, make sure their clothes are ready, their packed lunches are ready. What sacrifices do they not do? They do so much. Why? Because they love their children so much. Yeah, and just like that mother loves her child, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves each one of us 70 times more than our mothers. So just imagine how much Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves us, because we are His creation. We are created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we have to return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we are loved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One day there was a woman, she lost her child, and she was desperately looking everywhere and looking for her child, and she was worried and concerned, and she was looking everywhere. And when she did find him, she grabbed hold of him, she pressed him close to his chest, and she, was crying in tears of happiness that I found my child. Then she fed him. And the Prophet ﷺ, who was with his companion, asked his companions, do you think that this woman would ever throw her child in the fire? So the Sahaba said, by Allah, she will never throw her child in the fire. Then the Prophet ﷺ said to the Sahaba, do you know that Allah is more merciful to His servants than this lady is to her son? So Allah is more merciful to His servants than this lady is to her son. So just we can imagine and ponder how merciful Allah must be, how kind Allah is. So no matter what difficulties, what hardship we face in life, these are trials and tribulation Allah Ta'ala puts us through so that we gain a higher rank in the hereafter, or Allah wants to wash away our sins. There are many great reasons that Allah Ta'ala puts us through trials and tribulations, but the main thing is Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is loving and caring towards His creation. So Allah instructs us to be kind and loving towards His creation. So not only we should be kind to the people around us, we should also be kind to the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That might be animals as well. If we have an animal, we should be, loving, caring towards it. If we're keeping a pet, we should look after it. If we keep a cat in the house or keep a goldfish, we need to make sure we feed it, we look after it, we take care of it, we take pity on it. So a Muslim, is that person who takes care and loves the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In one hadith, the Prophet says, Ar-Rahimuna yarhamuhum ar-Rahman, irhamu man fil ard, yarhamukum man fis sama. The Prophet said, the merciful will be shown mercy by the most merciful. So be merciful to those on the earth, and the one in the heavens will have mercy upon you. So from this hadith we learn that we need to show kindness and mercy to the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if we do that, Allah will have mercy upon us. Allah will take care of us. Allah will love us. So we should always, as a Muslim, we don't just think about ourselves, we think about others. And we should be caring and loving towards others. And that reminds me of a story of a woman. She was a wretched woman and she committed so many bad sins. But one day she came to a well and she saw a thirsty dog, a dog that was really thirsty, and it was wanting some water. And this woman, she took pity on this creature, a creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and she made sure that this dog got some water to drink. Now, because she took pity on the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah forgave all her sins and Allah will grant her paradise. Just because this woman that committed many sins, but because she took pity on the creation of Allah, Allah took pity on her and Allah forgave her all her sins. And another story that I learned was that one day there was a pious man who used to teach hadith, and he was a great scholar, a great teacher of his time, and he used to lecture the people, guide the people, teach the people. And one day he was writing away with his pen, and in those days they would dip the pen into the ink. So on one day what happened was a fly landed onto his pen and started sucking onto the ink. So this great alim, this scholar, thought, this is a creation of Allah, a fly that's landed on my pen and it's thirsty and it's drinking away on the ink. So he didn't move his finger until the fly had finished drinking and flew away. So anyway, many years later, this great scholar passed away, and somebody saw him in a dream and asked him, so tell me, what happened to you? So he said, Allah had mercy upon me, Allah forgave me. So the man said, it must have been for your teaching and your lecturing and your work of deen. He said, no. And then he said to that person, because one day this fly landed onto my pen and it was thirsty, and I took pity on this creation of Allah. Because of this reason, Allah took pity on me and forgave all my sins. Now just imagine that, so much great work this alim done, this scholar done, but Allah Ta'ala took pity on him, had mercy on him, because he took pity on the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So look, Allah is merciful, Allah is kind, Allah is loving towards his creation. And Ar-Rahman is the great quality of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the great name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah Ta'ala has bestowed this mercy and kindness inside us as well. And we should show this as well. So what can we do? First and foremost, we should respect our elders. If you are our parents, we should look after them, we should do khidmat of them, we should take care of them. Like that, elders in the community. So any elders, if we're going shopping and we see that there's an elder coming to the door, whether they're Muslim or non-Muslim, we should open the door for them. or if we're in the bus and we see that we're sat on a seat and an elder has come onto the bus, we should get up and tell the elder to come and sit down. So we should respect our elders. To remember, today, if we respect elders, tomorrow when we become old, our youngsters will respect us. Second of all, we should be merciful on our young ones. We should be kind and loving towards our younger children, our younger students, anybody that's younger than us in age. We should be kindful towards them. We should, they will make mistakes. They might do something wrong. Yeah, so we should be loving towards them. We should advise them. We should talk to them. Okay, we should be merciful. We should play with them. We should talk to them. We should communicate with them. Okay, by doing that, they will respect us. So remember, we were young one day. So we did those silly mistakes. We do those things that they are doing. So we should always be merciful and kind towards the young ones. And third thing is, take pity on the creation of Allah. Yeah, just like humans, with any creation of Allah, whether it's animals, whether it's any creation of Allah, we should take pity on it. Okay, and we should always remember this is a creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just like Allah has taken pity on me and is kind towards me, I should show kindness and take pity on the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's what makes us a Muslim. A Muslim is that person who doesn't just think about himself, he thinks about others, and not just about others, he thinks about his community, he thinks about his environment, and he thinks about the people, the creatures, the creations, everything around him. And that's what makes us a good Muslim. So remember this hadith, be merciful to those on the earth, and the one above the heavens will have mercy upon you. So if we're kind and loving towards the creation of Allah Ta'ala, Allah will be loving and kind towards us. May Allah Ta'ala accept. Ameen.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, today we will be learning the dua before we eat. So repeat after me. Bismillahi wa ala barakatillah. Bismillahi wa ala barakatillah. Okay, now we'll read it together. Bismillahi wa ala barakatillah. Bismillahi wa ala barakatillah. Bismillahi wa ala barakatillah.